All right, guys, welcome back. Now, in this video, I'll be showing you how to use your Fibonacci retracement. Now, look at this diagram that you see here. If you look at this diagram that you see here, you can see your double top. Okay, double top here. All right. Now, let's say you want to use a Fibonacci on this diagram. Example now, let's say this is your point A, all right, and point B. Okay, and then these two double top, and a trade went up, hit this point here and start dropping down. Usually when it drops down, it gets to this structural point here. Okay, it will always break this structural point. Let's assume this point here is actually the best point to take your trade, but if you are not able to take this trade from this point here, now the next point to take your trade will be when it comes for a retracement. All right, then you can take it. Then how do you know where it will come, when it will get to? You wait for the trade for it to break this structure point here. Once the trade break this structure point, it goes down, it goes down. When it breaks the structure point, there will always be a retrace backward. Okay, now if the trade go back up now, you don't, it could be here. Here could be the point where it will drop down, point A, or it could go up to point B and drop down, it will go back up to point C. And this is where this Fibonacci retracements come into play. To get the precision of where to enter your trade, okay, for a retrace, since you cannot catch this point A here, okay, this very point here on this double top, you were not able to catch it. It drops down and now it's retracing back. Now, as this retracement, now at what level do you need to enter your trade? Because sometimes you can just enter your trade from this point here, it will stop you out. You enter here from this point, it stop you out. Enter here from this point, stop you out. So not to have too many entry and being stopped out. Okay, you can just have 2 points in at heart that you can enter your trade, wait for the trade to retrace, and you can enter it. That is when you take your Fibonacci, all right, and then you drag from this top point A, this double point at the top here, drag it down to this point where the trade is retracing back up. Now, if you look at this point here, we have 0.23, 0.38, 0.50, and then 61.8. all right. Now the golden region here, which is the 38.2, 50.0, and then 51.8, these are the three best regions. But for me now, I will pick 38.2 and 61.8 because those are the regions where trade commonly retrace. So when you look at this diagram now, I've already marked my A point, which is 38.2, and then C point, you see 50.0, and then B point is 61.8. So what I do basically, I'm actually target two regions, A and B. So I can take my trade from A here, enter here if it gets here, okay, and put a very tight stop loss. If it knocks me up, then I'll know that okay, it has to, I'll wait for it to come to 61.8. Now it will save me from entering too many trades and not being stopped out, because I know that whenever it gets to this point, I know the trade will return. So instead I wait for it when it gets to 61.8, 38.0.2, then I know that okay, I'll pick my trade here, 38.2, and then it comes down, or I'll wait for it to get to 61.8. okay, then I know I'll pick my trade here, okay, and my stop loss, I know that it will come down. But when it exceeds this region, when it exceeds 61.8, I'll know that the trade is not going to return back down. It's going to retrace back and go back up. Whenever you see a trade, okay, goes above your 61.8 and maybe return back to this point, break through your your region, 61.8 region, and comes back here, you don't need to bother taking the trade for a sell, because already the trade is going to just go up, point here, retrace back, and then go back up. It means that the trend has changed. All right. Now, in another case, let's look at this now. In this, let's look at this next diagram here. Okay, let me show you on that diagram. Okay, I think this is the diagram. Let's see this diagram. What do we have here? Okay, now let's look at in this diagram. Okay, you can already see myself on that you draw. Now you see some diagram that you see that the double top are not equal. Okay, one is higher than the other. How do you take your Fibonacci retracement? You always take it from the highest point. Okay, down to this region here. All right. Then you will now, as we can see, the retracement. Okay, is already retracing. That's why this arrow is here. You wait for it to retrace. That is 0.2023. Never take your trade from 0.23. We are going to stop you out. All right. You wait for it to get to 38.2. Then you can take your trade. If you are lucky, it comes back down. If you are not lucky, it will stop you out. When it stop you out, you know that it's either going to rest on 50.0 or 61.8. But for me, I wait for it to get to 61.8 because most times it gets to 61.8. Then I take my trade from there and then it goes back down. So always remember, when a trade you miss to take this trade from this top here, okay, which is this double top here, it will come back down. You wait for it to break this structure point, which is this point here now. It will break it. When it break it, you don't just jump because it's going to retrace back. So you wait for it to come down, okay, and then when it start retrace, then you draw your Fibonacci. Then wait for it to retrace up to 38, this region 38.2 or 61.8. These are the two golden key regions where you can take your trade, and I can assure you when you take it, if it goes down, and then come down to this equal point here. Whenever you take a trade from this region 38 point, okay, either 38.2 or 61.8. All right, let me remove this Fibonacci so that you can actually know where to take your profits. Okay, let's say you succeeded in taking your trade from, let me use this Fibonacci, let me place this Fibonacci here now, outdoor, okay, on this chart so that we can see it. We are not using this diagram, we are still using this diagram. Okay, so let's put it so that we can, right? So now we have our Fibonacci here, which is 60. So let's say now we want it, our Fibonacci, sorry, excuse me, get aligned. Okay, now let's say it goes up and it gets to 61.8, and this is where it ends, and then it comes back down. Okay, it will always break through this point, okay, and then come down here. Always remember that. Okay, it will come back to this point, and this point is the best region to take your profit. Don't be scared because you cut it from this point. Okay, after you enter there, all right, 61.8, and it drops to this point, you now take profit. Wait for it to, even when it gets here, don't take profit. It will always break to this point because you will always see a bottom here where you take your massive profit. All right, so that is how to use your Fibonacci retracement. If you have any question, please you can leave in the comment below. Like and subscribe for more value content.